All right. Well, I guess we should get started. Let's Gotham. How you doing, man? How's the NYU stuff going? I think you weren't there last time, but in the last one.
Yeah, I was busy with some family stuff. Yeah, so I didn't get time to attend the call, and yeah, I've been busy the past 2 weeks as well. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've been attending. I attended the last two, and it's a good group of people. They really explain, like
Hmm.
you get like five different explanations for the same thing, and each one of those explanations is like interesting, you know. So
Yep, bunch of really smart people in the group. Yeah.
yeah, a little too mathy for me at this point, but I'm learning my notation a little bit, and I'm getting a lot out of it actually, or a reasonable amount. Um, well, anything else you want to talk about, Gotham, or bring up, or ask, or?
Um. Not much. So there's this channel by Ras. I'm sure that all of us are familiar with it because I think we had discussed about the NLP fundamentals playlist that they have, but they have been like putting out small videos which are very interesting. I happened to watch a few of them. I just saw a really good one which they posted today.
So I'm
So there's
sorry.
this
Who is this?
the
Different person?
Rasa channel.
Oh, okay. So like on YouTube.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm with you.
So,
Uh-huh.
so the I'm pasting the link in the chat. So this one's it's called bulk labeling. So they created a tool. Again, we come back to UMAP. So they plot UMAP projections of your data points, and then you can bulk label them. So you can just see what are the sentences that are clustered together, and then you can just draw a rectangle around them and say this belongs to class so and so. And yeah, your labeling is much more simplified, and I think this would work well in a snorkel type workflow. So you can have like slightly noisy labels, and yeah, you can work your way to a good model.
So, that's like exactly what I was sort of trying to do, right? So we did the UMAP stuff with the slavery sentences, and then we had clusters, and then I was thinking
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would
yeah.
be, how to, but how is what they did different from just, like what I did is my idea was, obviously a very simple idea, but you got the cluster, and then you take, let's say your cluster has 800 sentences in it, you just take the 50 that are closest to the centroid, you know, um, but how were they doing that? Do you know? Actually
It's the
choosing.
same, but it just gives you a really easy interface to do it. You don't have to like write a lot of code or anything. They just give you an easy interface to quickly label clusters as belonging to a particular class,
So
and
it's
you
a
can
new
iterate
it's a new
over lots of sentences.
functionality. I'm sorry, it's a new functionality of their library, basically.
Yeah, they
Called.
create
Oh,
these small tools. I'm not sure if they're part of the library. They create a lot of extra tools, NLP tools, and like they created the library called What Lies. I think Yuri had mentioned it earlier. So you can like project embeddings and see what information they are uh, learning.
right.
I mean, yeah, to understand embeddings basically. Yeah, so their team actually builds a lot of these small tools alongside their main tool, which is Rasa. Yeah.
Right. Very nice.
And another thing that I saw was that Stanford has this new course called ML Systems Design. Uh, they may release the videos, and I think if you join their community, you get access to the video as well. So there's this girl called Chip Huyen. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with her. She is very active on Twitter, and uh, she's active in the ML tooling space. Like, how do you put ML systems into production? What tools can be used? yeah, to monitor your model and the real world stuff. So I mean, I lack so much knowledge in that space. Yeah, so I thought this was very interesting. Maybe
So
I'll.
you have some info, some experience with ML flow. Is that right?
No, I don't have.
Yeah. Do you have any experience with any of the tools for
No, not
experimentation
really.
or?
No, I haven't actually worked with. Uh, I've only deployed like simple models. I have not worked with any complex models at work yet. Yeah, so I mean, these are the skills that are really important uh, in the industry, right? So if you just changing between more complex models, like changing from Elmo to BERT or anything like that, that may not give you too much benefit. But if you are having a good like data pipeline and cleaning and monitoring and all of that stuff, if that's good, then yeah, I mean, I think that these are the skills that are really relevant in the industry. Yeah.
Well, aren't you guys, your company's sort of building a team now, right? So they may become more important and necessary, right?
Yes.
Because you
Yes.
can't
Yep.
reproduce things and all that stuff. So,
Yep.
but currently, in your company, they're not using any of these like pachyderm on the data side,
Nope.
or
uh
pipeline tool or experiment tracking or.
yeah, I'm still like a junior guy in my team.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, not
Um,
yet. I'll share the
you
I
link for
I
this thing as well.
I got disconnected and I just came back and heard ML flow. So did you talk about the core? Is it a course or a site? Or?
Yeah, it's a new course from Stanford. It's called ML Systems Design. So how do
Oh,
you
it's not. I think I've seen it also. It's by an Wham. I forgot her first name.
chip chip
Uh,
Huyen?
yeah. Yeah, I saw it also, and yeah, it will be published pretty soon. Yeah, that'll be interesting course. Thanks.
Hey Gotham, you were talking about trying to get asynchronous scraping, speeding up your scraping.
Yep.
I remember Sujit talked about AKKA. I don't know how you say that, actor
Yeah.
model, and we talked about a bunch of stuff. Do you have any more thoughts about any of that?
Uh, uh, I I got Scrapy working, but I have not deployed it yet. And I came across another library called HTTPX. It's again asynchronous, uh, like HTTP client. Like you can use it instead of the requests library.
Oh,
It's yeah,
nice.
it's
I haven't
called
heard of that.
HTTPX. But I have not tried this one. Yeah, I'll paste the link in the chat.
Okay. Um, anything else at work?
Um,
You doing engineering stuff, or you been doing mostly data science stuff?
yep, engineering stuff actually.
Yep.
Uh, Not much data science.
What type of engineering stuff?
So yeah, things move very slow at my work right now because yeah, everyone's at home, and so we are building this uh, backend database for scraping, for storing
Hmm.
the scraped stuff.
Right.
And yeah, it's a NoSQL database, and just to decide the schema and all of that stuff, it takes a lot of time. So we are still working on that, and then this will be served as, I mean, as the backend to an annotation tool which our front end team is building. uh, yeah, and then the long term goal is we have some kind of active learning uh, setup to train. So right now, yeah, we are manually collecting annotations, so it's very tedious.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the plan.
It's
Yeah.
it's interesting because Edgar has the same sort of evolution happening uh, with his nonprofit work, and I think Sujit and Yuri both have similar, sort of evolutions happening at their work. So hopefully we can all see how we evolve. But okay, so that stuff's happening, and I could see why you're using, instead of a data lake approach, just putting them in blob storage, why you're using a MongoDB or a document store, NoSQL store, because you want it to be the back end for a front end where people are tagging and stuff. So that makes a lot of sense, and where you could store metadata. All right, anything else?
No, that's all. Yeah.
And you guys are doing a custom front end for that, right?
So yeah, we have like front end experts in our office. So yeah, people who know React and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I ask is because there are players out there now. There are vendors who are getting more and more mature that offer part or all of this infrastructure. But it seems to me like most companies are just doing custom, like you guys are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I don't know, Yuri, if you want to share anything. I know you may not be in the position. Maybe you're just listening. But if you want to,
I can quickly share, and then I think I'll get disconnected soon. Can you hear me? Okay, by the way.
Yeah, you sound like you're in a car, but your volume's pretty good.
Okay. So I participated in Climate Crisis Hackathon this weekend. That was fun. It was organized by a bunch of companies in Montreal. So it was some Europeans, some people from US participating. I was trying to solve a problem of downsampling, going from large climate predictions to very high resolution predictions. We didn't build anything. We didn't build much, but we learned how to build those solutions. There was no NLP projects, but somebody was presenting kind of their own work, and they were scraping SEC filings for climate and environment-related data. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I tried to I'm going to try to learn more about the project. That's it. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's no results from hackathon yet. Once they have results, I'll try to put something together. So I might show something maybe in a week or two.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Even of course, even if it's not NLP, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. I think people have broad enough interest in this group. It should be fine. It's interesting to think about the low resolution to high resolution, just as playing with it a minute. Could you imagine something analogous to that in NLP? Mind reading, basically, right? I mean, you're just going to given every fifth word in an ancient text, but that's almost like a generative problem, really.
That's the thing. Everybody's trying to use GANs as universal solution these days, but I don't think they're applied in NLP at all. They're image specific, sort of. Learn something similar.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Yuri?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Dan?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to update. Just been going through my AWS class.
So you haven't been doing anything with Edgar and with the slavery stuff?
No, not the last couple weeks.
And so, can you give us a rundown on sort of the order of attack of AWS and what you're learning and what you think will be interesting in it, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so AWS has their certifications. Have you seen the diagram? Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's on this page here. So they have their foundational certification, which is the cloud practitioner. That's the one I'm taking the class for right now. It's fairly basic, fairly easy to get. So I think it's going to be about a week's worth of work for me to get that certification. So that's where I'm in the middle of right now. And then they have these verticals for architect, operations, and developer. And then for each of those, they have a associate and professional certification. I'm not pursuing any of those. They also have 6 specialty certifications, one of which is machine learning. And so I think I'm going to start taking some of the classes for it. I don't know whether I'm actually going to pursue the certificate or not. But certainly, like, I've been using Cloud Academy for my training. And they've got different learning paths for each of these certifications. And I think the machine learning certification, they've got a bunch of training on SageMaker and stuff like that, which is kind of, I don't know how far I'm going to try and go in that before I apply. I'm certainly want to get the cloud practitioner cert.
How reasonable is Cloud Academy for going for what you're doing?
Yeah,
Money-wise?
it has a monthly fee. I think it's like $40 a month, something like that.
Oh, geez. And you're not,
Yeah,
and you could stop anytime you want?
yeah,
Oh, well, huh. Nice.
yeah, yeah. It's $39 a month, so
Yep. Nice,
yeah,
nice.
pretty reasonable.
And yeah, so what kind of job would you want to get with AW? What could you envisage yourself?
I would
Position right
envision
now.
myself doing something with Alexa. I know they've got a big Alexa team with lots of NLP folks, and I know I've got a contact who does localization for Amazon, which is
Yeah.
like making sure that Alexa works with different dialects and languages and things like that. And so she's not a data scientist or machine learning person. She's more of a philosophical background, but she
Mhm.
told me about a couple interesting groups and teams in there that I'm going to research a little bit more.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit going on in that business. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've got NLP specialists who are doing all sorts of other stuff outside of Alexa as well. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Anything
How
else?
is that? How is that compared? I don't know if you looked at data camp at all. Is it similar? Or is it like more like kind of cohort, or like you start together and you like do it with a group?
I did not look at data camp. So the Cloud Academy has here, let me find the link. They have these learning paths that are consist of a number of courses put together in different combinations for different objectives. So here's the one that I'm currently taking. And then they've got some other courses, like some of the stuff, they went through some of like the networking stuff and some of the data center stuff. I didn't have any background in any of that, but they had other courses that they linked to that I was able to build up some of those basics. So that was helpful.
So I've done data camp almost a year ago, maybe a little longer, and I don't know what they're like now, but they're very quick, short videos followed by an exercise you do online and code it. Does that sound right, Yuri?
Yeah, they were very popular at some point, and then they had like
Yeah,
problem
problems.
with the CEO, and then like everybody pulls their classes from there.
Yeah.
So like, but look like they recovered, but yeah, I haven't seen them.
So I found them very useful for when I knew nothing. Like it was just like I learned what a neuron is, you know, and a neural network, but not at a mathematical level. But it was great for really quickly getting an introduction into different areas, right? So I just like paid $50 a month for like a month and just jammed through all those classes I could. And you know, again, but I don't know how good they are for going deep. Maybe they are in certain areas. But their format was nice because you watch a quick video and then you do an exercise, and it was a little awkward. And they have it's like a notebook, but it's not. And then you do a video, you do an exercise, a video, and you do it all right there. So you have to finish the exercise to go on to the next thing, and that sort of stuff. So I really liked it. It's cheap, but it's maybe not very much depth to it. I don't know yet. I don't know.
Yeah, so the Cloud Academy one is similar. They've got videos and then they've got exercises. It's not mandatory to do the exercises. But they really have a focus on the three big cloud providers. Almost all of their training has something to do, it falls under one of the buckets of AWS, Azure, or GCP.
Yeah, I think DataCamp does not have cloud related courses. It's just data science, machine learning, and some computer science stuff. They probably don't have cloud stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like Dan, when you started working towards learning, maybe when you were still on the job, whatever. When you started deciding you want to do more data science kind of stuff, is your main area, I guess, also particularly in the area of deep learning and neural networks? Did you get a lot of your knowledge in that area by taking a set of courses?
Yeah. So I've done. So I started off with my first course was a intro to Python course for data scientists on Udemy. And then I did Andrew Ng's machine learning course on Coursera. I have done I did a learning path on Udacity that was put together specifically for Shell. It was only offered internally in Shell, but it was delivered through Udacity. It was okay, not great. I don't know that I'd recommend Udacity that much. But the Coursera stuff and the Udemy stuff I've done has been good. The Stanford CS224N was awesome. And then I just kind of picked stuff up here and there through exercises and practice and things like that.
Yep. How about yourself, Gotham? In terms of your like, where did the largest percentage of your deep learning knowledge come from?
Yeah, I would say my largest percentage probably came from just going out and doing it. Like I had my apprenticeship within Shell, and I was forced to. We were doing stuff with autoencoders, so I had to go learn autoencoders and stuff like that, more so than the classes.
Right. Yeah. How about yourself, Gotham?
I think pretty similar. So Coursera's deeplearning.ai, that one was like, I think I gained maximum from that course. I mean, in terms of deep learning, but many sources here and there. I have not completed any course like 100%. I just do like 75% of a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's how it has been. And
Well,
I've
when you
never
think
finished.
about it, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And we have free Coursera subscriptions at my office, and so actually I could do any course on Coursera for free, and it's been close to 2 years and I've yet to finish a single one. I have just started like
So
20 courses. I'm not
in reality, where is most of your juice, your deep learning juice coming from?
So just deeplearning.ai was the first one, and then DataCamp I had finished a lot of them. Yeah, DataCamp, since the courses are really small, I was actually able to finish quite a lot of them. And I have to say my college as well. So I graduated in like 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
in my college days also I was learning a lot. Yeah, and
Yep.
yeah,
It's kind of funny because there is not really. So that's great that you got that at college, but outside of college and probably inside of college, there's no realistic curriculum like the way we all are naturally learning in bits and pieces, piece of this course, you know, through Slack, Zoom, projects for fun, projects at work, apprenticeships. You know what I mean? No one's putting together a whole, or maybe someone is. I don't know. That's what some of those camps are. I don't know, but you know what I mean? No one's at least somehow enabling that whole process. So each
I believe
individual.
in like learning as you go. Like if you have a huge path of lot of courses, that will just be like really daunting and tiring. Like
Yep.
yeah,
So that's
just
exactly
if
it.
you
There's no
need
learning as you go.
something.
There's no learning as you go enabler. Well, that could be a website, it could be a service, it could be, it could be a call, whatever it is. No one's really enabling learning as you go like we're all doing. You know what I
So
mean?
like,
Like not in a comprehensive way.
so what
You
I
know
was
what I mean?
thinking like,
Yeah,
mhm.
go ahead.
No, like suppose you're interested in NLP a lot and you want to better yourself in that, then I would just go to CS224 and then watch the videos and try out something like that. So if you're if you feel that you want to improve yourself in one field, then you just search the best courses in that and yeah, do a bunch of them.
Sure, but
That's
you got to
how I.
understand, us on this call are good at this. That's why we're on this call.
Mhm.
We're all learning as you go centric. We're good at it. But 80% of the people out there may not be.
I mean, yeah, you have to be right. It's a people have to look out for themselves, and yeah, I mean,
Yep,
nobody
for
will
sure.
feed you, and yeah.
Yep. All right. Um, anything else, Dan? I guess we were doing.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have much to report. I just continue to work on my NLP stuff at work, and I'm sort of struggling with and figuring out a good way to hand off POCs to our engineering team, who's not used to such things. And so I'm sort of taking my directory. I've been working in directories that are like dated, and sort of taking that and trying to then, have it in Git, because you can have private Git repositories now, or more than one, and then just have the data somewhere else and Docker containers. So I want to be able to hand it off to them so they have a nice README file and the Git code, and then they can start up a Docker container or two and run things. So I'm sort of working towards that, so I can hand off POCs in a reasonable way. And then I'm trying to start focus a little bit on multi-class, multi-label classification, and trying to get a little more familiar with metrics that are available, because I want to understand the multi-label metrics, because we have the big taxonomy, and that's what we do, multi-label classification manually now. And my ultimate goal is to then sort of put that into the context of taxonomies and try to adjust those metrics and create my own metrics if needed, where you're in a taxonomy situation, so that it's, if you have a benchmark set and you have a topic, you're all, a Y hat or whatever, a predicted Y, and you're comparing it with the actual answers with the Y, then I want to be able to say, well, if it's this topic or it's children. So like if it hits but it's narrower than it should have hit, or it's a little broader, or it's a lot narrower. So I want to sort of take into account that into my metric. And I've been sort of thinking that through. But that's going to take a little while. But that's sort of what my mind is on that. Just really working with PyTorch, just a little bit at a time. And I've actually been going through Sujit's Git because he went through a learning cycle with PyTorch, and he has a whole Git repository on it. And so I'm starting to sort of go through that, and it's very fun. I really love PyTorch, but I'm only just beginning with it. So it's a great way to get the basics. So that's where I am. That's all I got.
Darren, I have a question. Again, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I remember long time ago you were experimenting with Streamlit. Are you still using it?
Yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I haven't. I actually do almost every project I do. I end up using Streamlit in one way or another.
Okay. So my question is, you don't use Dash, Plotly Dash, right?
What was that called?
So there is a kind of
Plotly
a similar
Dash.
framework called Plotly Dash.
Oh, Plotly Dash.
Yeah.
That sounds like an analytics sort of data centric, where you could turn your data science, project into a nice dashboard for someone, right?
Yeah, so it's a similar kind of area as Streamlit, but I was wondering if you ever compared the two, like why you choose Streamlit over the, or it just happened.
It's a good question. Let me look at my notes real quick and just see. I have Evernote, and I just have like a million notes. So let me see, because I don't remember that. Plotly Dash. No, I don't have it in there, but what I can do actually, what I'd be glad to do is after this call, I'll take it shouldn't take me very much time. I'll take a look at it and try to give you a sense of the differences, if you'd like.
So the question is we already have something in Plotly Dash. I'm trying to understand, is there still any reason to use Plotly or not Plotly, Streamlit, or is it just to avoid any knowledge of the framework, like a web framework?
So do you know? Can you describe briefly how Plotly Dash works?
I never actually built anything with it, but it's an easy framework to basically show your model results. It's an interactive. It's a web Python visualization, basically.
Right. So I'll have to look at it, but is just briefly Streamlit. You do everything in Python, and it executes from top to bottom, and it has some data caching mechanisms built in that are very nice. And so if you look at my Streamlit app, it's just Python code, so you don't need to know CSS or any of that kind of stuff. That's sort of the main thing, right? It's moving the whole UI world into the Python world. And they have widgets. I can't remember all the language they use for all of this, but basically what I typically create is you'll have drop downs, multi-selects, and or text entry boxes. And what I actually did, for example, was have where you have it starts off with a query box. So you have a bar on the left, you have a navigation on the left, sort of, but you have a query box, and I was doing an LSI query. It's the first one I did. So you put in a vendor name, a software vendor name, and I would, in a text box, and get back, it'd run a query on my LSI model. So you're just using Python in the back, right? I have helper libraries I'm importing and using. And then when I get the results, I parse all of the topics that were classified to those documents that came back, manually classified. And then I count them up, sort them, and put them into another drop-down. So it's really the same screen, but it's dynamically updating. And then I would say, okay, let's expand by this topic. So maybe I got 1,000 results back. And then there's a little adjuster, and I want to adjust the threshold down. And so now I have 200 good results back from the LSI concept search. And now I want to expand on one of the topics that's very common in those results. So then there's a drop down that shows those categories and products, and so I expand, and then it keeps dynamically updating. That's sort of, I don't know if that's exactly a typical application, but yeah, does that make some sense?
Do you usually like just run it like on your desktop, or do you ever like deploy it and then let other people see it?
Yeah, both. I do both, absolutely. And it's a server. So, you know, when I'm local, what I'll do with it is I'll, you know, go into my Docker container, and, you know, I'm on Windows, so I go into Docker container, and I'll start up the server. And you know, then I can use it. You know, then I just go to a browser, and it's there. And then I iterate. You know, then I go into another Docker container, maybe the same one, and then I just code and iterate back and forth. And then I deploy it to just directly to a VM. And so I put the Docker container up on GCP and their container repository, and then I start up a VM and put it in there, and I run it there and make the IP address externally. And actually, there's one running right now, and my supervisor, you know, he plays with it and uses it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Plotly dash. Okay, I'm at the site, so I'm going to take a closer look at that as well. Anything else? Anyone else have anything they want to share or ask or talk about? Yeah, I mean, the really cool thing whenever you see Streamlit, one of the reasons I use is because it was a year ago when I was at Pi Data LA. I saw a presentation, and it had just come out. And what they did that like hooks you is they'll have split screens. So on your left side of your screen, you'll have a browser open, or you'll have your IDE open, you know, like PyCharm or whatever, and then our VS Code. And on the right side, you'll have the Streamlit app open, your server up and running, and you're in a browser. And actually, you set it so it'll actually execute as you type, and so you can just type, and you can see your code becoming a GUI right in front of your face. So it's pretty sweet like that in terms of developing, and it has good memoization or caching capabilities as well. So anyway, anyone else? All right, guys. I think that'll be it for today. And we'll talk next Thursday. So I'll post the chat as usual and shut down the call. Talk to you all soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.